dad is a magician. He's done that my entire life. He was a clown at the very beginning, just in case you're like, how do you get into something like that? He goes clown and magic. There's 2 steps. You can take them in either order. I was born, he was a clown. It was never weird to me. I thought everybody's dad was a clown. My first memory of my life is I was 5 years old, and I remember my mom walked me out to the front yard, and my dad pulled up with this old red Mazda. He's dressed as a clown. That doesn't even faze me. That's just how he left. How else would he come home? And the Easter Bunny was in the passenger seat. That's the first thing that I remember to my life. If you want to know how you get into comedy, that's a pretty good nudge. And I remember it didn't fit, the Easter Bunny head didn't fit in the car, like he couldn't sit normal, so his head was bent to the side. And I remember he had his seatbelt on, and he's just like, and I was like, I like to think about all the other people that saw that, just in the car next to him, just at a red light. You're like, I didn't even know they hung out like that. I do 0 working out. Not even, I mean, it's not like you're like, whoa, wow. Like it's like, yeah, we figured that. Every hotel I go to, I ask if they have a gym. I don't even have clothes that I could work out in. There's no way. I'm like, is it 24 hours? I was going to start tonight at midnight. So I was wondering if that's... What I've learned, what's easier than working out is just tell people that you used to weigh 300 pounds. That's a lot. They don't know, you know? So I've never weighed 300 pounds, but I look pretty amazing for a guy that used to weigh 300 pounds. You're like, yeah, I got tired of being tired, all right, you know? Today's my cheat day, obviously, but normally I'm pretty strict. So me and my buddy, we rented a car. He's driving. On the way out there, I see a dead horse just laid out in this guy's yard. And I've never seen that before. And I was like, man, I bet you don't think about that when you buy a horse, it dying. You know, what do? That's a huge thing, dying in your yard. You can't just scoot it off into the woods with your foot and try to get another one that matches before the kids come home. You have to tell your wife to keep the kids away for a month. You got to Google how to move a dead horse. You got to probably try to get another horse to help you do it, and that's not easy. That's what the blinders were invented for, because it's like, just look ahead. Don't worry about what's going on back. No, look. Or you got to get your friends to help you do it, and you can't spill the beans too quick on that. You think it's hard for them to help you move a couch? Try a dead horse. You got to lie to them, like, we're getting a divorce. Just come over. Bring your truck and some gloves. And when they get there, let me tell you, they're going to see it, all right? Everybody saw it. It was next to the road. And they're going to pull into that driveway and just be like, I don't think they're getting a divorce at all. I think we're here to move that dead horse is what I think. I just don't eat anything healthy. I like apples, but I only like pre-cut apples. I won't eat a whole one, you know? I'm not a horse, all right? So could you guys do some work over there at the apple factory, you know, however apples get here? I've watched a lot of the documentaries that try to make you eat better. Like I watched Fed Up, and it's about all the food that I eat every day. There was nothing in it that I haven't had recently. You know that saying, like, I haven't had that in forever? I haven't said that in forever. There's nothing I haven't had. Airheads, that's usually something like, oh, are they still doing good? Yeah, they're doing great. They got more colors now, it's pretty fun, you know? On the way back, since my buddy was driving, he did not see the dead horse, you know? And I'm like, well, you can't not see it. So it's just one road, and I was like, I'll just show you where it's at. So we're driving, and we get to it. I was like, it's right here. And I pointed, and the horse was standing up, doing unbelievable. One of the healthier horses that I've ever seen. So I learned that horses lay down to sleep. I did not know that. I don't know what I thought before that day. I don't know. that they lock their knees. That's why they have 4 knees. I don't know. That's what I would have probably argued with you about it. People always talk to me very easy too, or dumb. Like if I talk to a stranger, I can always feel it. And I think it's my eyes. I have big eyes, you know? And so I just get a lot of like, you still with me, man? And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, man, I'm listening. And he goes, all right, I don't feel like you could have been anywhere, you know? And our daughter, she's 6 now, but she was 5 at the time. This was her first pet. She was best friends with this dog. And it was the first thing that was gonna die in her lifetime. So it's a lot of stuff to have to explain to a kid, you know? And so I was talking to my wife about like, how are we gonna tell her? And at first I was like, let's just act like we didn't have a dog. 5-year-olds are smart, but if we stick together on this, and she comes home from school and is like, where's the dog? And we're like, what dog? Like, I've never seen a dog. Don't you think I would know if there was a dog? But I read an article about the long-term damage of that. It's pretty good. So I was just honest with her. And I set her down. I said, look, Annie's very sick and she's older and she's gonna die soon. This happens, so just love her as much as you can right now. And she took it as good as a 5-year-old can take it. So the next day, I kind of told her again, you gotta tell kids over and over again. I kind of kept telling her, I didn't want this to be a surprise. And then Annie surprised us by living 6 months longer. I mean, we were way off on when we thought she was gonna die. But I already started telling my daughter I didn't want to stop and then have to start it again. So I just kept it up for 6 months. Every day I was like, she'll die. All right, she will die. She will die, I will die, your mom's dead. I went into one I was trying to buy a hammock. So I go in, I go back to where I imagine the hammocks live. And I went up to this guy and I was like, hey man, do you guys sell hammocks? And he was like, what's a hammock? And it threw me off enough that I was like, am I saying it wrong? I was like, I think I'm saying it wrong, because you know what it is. And I was like, is it Hammett with a T? Does that sound right? Like, do you guys sell hammocks? And he was like, we're out of hammocks. We're out of them. It's hammock season. And I left, went to my car, Googled where to buy a hammock. And Google was like, do you mean hammock? I was like, I sure do, Google. Where were you at during all of this? The other embarrassing part of that is, so it happened, and then I called like a comic buddy of mine to tell him the story. And I was like, this is funny, right? But then I asked him, I was like, hey, do you think if I tell people I was buying a hammock, is that gonna come off like I'm bragging? Like, for some reason, in my head, that's just like a wealthy purchase. Like, that's a hammock at Walmart, like an audience would be like, whoa, all right, I didn't know we were just hearing about how good you're doing. Man, what's it like to have 2 trees that close together? I got a reversible jacket at home, and I have 2 of them because I didn't know it was reversible. Bought them at the same time. Tried them both on separately. Liked the black one, thought might as well get the blue one too. Went and laid them up there, and I remember they go, are you sure? I go, yeah, I think I know what I'm doing here, right? So I go into a Starbucks, and I get to the front, and I was like, I'll take an iced coffee with cream. She goes, with cream? I go with cream. And then she goes, iced coffee with cream? I go, iced coffee with cream. She goes, with cream? I go with cream. And she said it one more time. She said, so iced coffee with cream? And at that point, I should have said, what's going on right now? Where are you at in your head? Because I feel like we're in 2 different places. But I was nervous, and there was people behind me, and I was like, cream or no cream? Honestly, I'll give you $20 if you let me leave right now. I cannot, this is the most I can talk about this. I don't even know what's happening anymore. So I paid, I go stand in line, you know, where you gotta wait for your drink. There's like 5 of us waiting for our drinks. So she puts the iced coffee up there first, no cream, and I was like, whatever. I'll just do it myself, you know? Like, I don't like doing it myself, but I was like, all right, I'll just do it. So before I could get it, she's walked back with a can of whipped cream, and she's shaking it. And I'm just looking at it, like thinking that's someone else's. I'm like, someone's getting whipped cream. That's fun. One of you guys are getting whipped cream? And I look down and she starts spraying the whipped cream on top of my iced coffee. She just yells out, iced coffee whipped cream, yells it out. The other 4 people, they turn their back, like they don't want you to accidentally think that's what they ordered. And I'm just left alone, like, that's what you thought I said over there? You don't think I would have said iced coffee with whipped cream? You think I'm just some nut job? It's like, I've had too many problems in this Starbucks, so I'm only going to use the words that I want and no other words. Iced coffee whipped cream cup. And they didn't have a top for it, so whipped cream, it doesn't sink and become less embarrassing, it moves. It's like a buoy in an ocean that everybody sees. And I'm just walking through the crowd like, this is my favorite drink. I don't know if you guys drink this at all. Is anybody, nobody does this? I'm surprised. And I walked outside and threw it away and tried again at a different Starbucks. The dumbest I've ever been talked to, I like to golf. And so a guy was telling me there's a real golf course in North Carolina where they have llamas or the caddies. So if you don't know anything about golf, I mean, you know, a caddy usually carries your bag around, tells you how far you are from the hole, and helps you out. So this course, they have llamas. So you put your golf bag on a llama, and it carries your bag. So he told me that, and then he looks into my big dumb eyes, and he goes, just so you know, llamas can't talk, though. I mean, that's the question he was trying to get ahead of as he looked into my stupid eyes. Like, he just feels like, I'm gonna say it so that guy doesn't have to say it. The best wedding I've ever been to was my cousin's wedding. It was a real redneck affair. It was right outside Louisville, Kentucky, where my parents are from. And my cousin's name is Tuesday, which is a good start. The invitation said, Tuesday's getting married, rehearsals Friday, wedding Saturday. People were like, we gotta be there Monday for this wedding? How long is this wedding? It's a week? We get there, I'm wearing a button-down shirt, khaki pants, nothing crazy. I'm wildly overdressed. I look like I work there. Everybody else just has a football or basketball jersey on. My uncle, his daughters get married. He has his tuxedo jacket, pants, cummerbund, bow tie, no shirt. They forgot his shirt, and instead of waiting to go get it, he was like, let's do it without it, right? Like, that's... And he doesn't have a body that's like, that's cool, man. You know, he has a body that you're like, put your jacket on backwards, flip it around. Yeah. And then you see his back and you're like, whew, all right, go back to regular way. Yeah, that's my fault. How's your back worse than your front? We go into the church, it's bride and groom, looks like it's home and away. That's how many jerseys are in there. Guys are drinking beers in the church. Like, that's something I've never heard a pastor be like, guys, could we not drink alcohol in the church? And they're like, oh, didn't know this was the nice part of town. All right. The reception is next door, just at a lady's house, like in her backyard. Like, she doesn't do, it isn't like she's like, and I do receptions all the time. We were her one and only reception. So we walk over. They took a horse and buggy. The horse was the oldest horse I've ever seen. I thought it was a donkey. I thought they got a deal on a donkey. And the guy was like, this horse was in the Kentucky Derby. Like, the first one that they did? Is that Secretariat's father? How old is this horse, man? You know they lay down, right?